What's up, and welcome to Unspoken Conversations. I'm James Crow, and here we talk about issues and situations that are in plain sight. Things that people hate to talk about, but it needs to be said, from relationships, families, friends, and life. Our goal is to shed light and understanding so that just maybe we can start to rebuild relationships, families, and ultimately, our communities. What's up, and welcome back, guys. In this episode, I want to talk about the importance of a dad being in a kid's life. Now, the aspect that I'm coming from is a bad dad or not. So the reason I want to talk about this is because all too often, women will rip the kid out of the father's life or push the dad out of the kid's life. And here's what happens. You turn this kid into this, how do I want to say this? You literally turn the kid away from the father based on your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions towards the man. You literally turn the kid into you. Now, because you have certain ways that you think and feel about this man, the kid grows up thinking and feeling the same type of way. Later on in life, what's going to happen is later on in life, this kid's going to have questions. He's going to have feelings. He's going to have thoughts and opinions about this man. And they all came from you. At some point, he's going to have a conversation or some type of relationship with this man. And it's going to all stem from everything that you've been telling this goddamn kid all these years. All these years. You get what I'm saying? When that kid's turned 16, 18 or 25, when it's time for this kid to talk to that parent, that dad, it happens with women too. But when at some point when this kid has to talk to this dad, everything that he knows came from yo ass. You know what I'm saying? So here's why it's important for even a bad dad, even a bad father to be around the kid. He ain't got to take the kid. You ain't got to let him take the kid. But the kid needs to see dad at his lowest point. His worst point. If this man is doing drugs, if this man is drinking and hanging out with his buddies and all the time lying to the kids, y'all stop taking this kid out of this man's life. Stop doing that shit. Stop trying to shield the fucking kid. When you shield the kid, you create questions. And just because the kid ain't asking you these questions doesn't mean the kid don't have these fucking questions. And when anybody, even grown people, when you have a question that goes unchecked, you create your own fucking answers. And a kid with questions that are unchecked, the answers that they come up with are way far-fetched. So you need to understand what you're doing to these kids. You need to understand that. Stop taking these fucking kids away from the father. Let the fathers come around. What's going to happen one day is this kid is going to have bad shit towards the dad, right? Bad shit towards the dad. Bad thoughts. I'm saying bad shit. He's going to have bad thoughts towards the dad. When it's time for them to have a conversation and he asks his dad, how come you never came around? How come you never came to get me? I look for you all the time. I used to sit in my room and look out the window and I wanted to see you all the time. I wanted you to come get me. How come you never came and get me? If this fucking father, if this dad says, baby, I tried to come and get you all the time. I did all that I could. I came to get you. I used to come by the house. I used to come to the school. Your mom would call the police on me. Your mom this. Now what you think this kid's going to say? Now what you think this kid's going to feel? Ooh, the truth done hit him as an adult. How do you think this kid's going to feel about you? Now this fucking kid is going to resent your ass because you all these years you've been telling your kid, this man that. Everything that you fed this kid was based on your feelings, thoughts, and opinion towards the man, not the logic about that the man was still this kid's dad. See what you did? See what the fuck you did?
Emotional damage.
So now your kids got to be just like you, hating the man because you done brought some bullshit to the kid. It shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that. This kid has to have, if this father is going to be fucking up, right? And let's just say the dad's on drugs. If the kid ever sees dad like this and the kid says, Mom, why is dad like this? Does dad not like me? You're supposed to be like, no, baby, your dad loves you. Your dad loves you. He just got a rough thing going on in his life. One day he'll get it together and then you can have all the talk you need to have with him. That's how it should be. But a lot of y'all ain't having that conversation. A lot of y'all is talking to these kids like, oh, fuck him. He's a piece of shit. Your dad was no good. Your dad was out here running the streets and this. Why would you say this to your kid? So now you're literally painting a bad picture in your kid's mind. What happens if this kid grows up and he says, fuck my dad, fuck my dad, fuck my dad, and then it switches, and then later the kid says, I'm just like my dad. I'm just like my dad. The teachers call me bad. My mom calls me bad. Auntie, grandma calls me bad. I'm just like my dad. See, now you see what happened? You talked all that shit about the kid's dad. Now the kid has this little slight tweak in his mind, and the kid thinks he's just like his dad. And that ain't even it. That ain't even it. You don't have to talk bad about the kid's dad to the kid. You don't have to talk bad about the kid's dad around the kid. You need to be trying to shield that man so that the kid don't pick up bad thoughts and opinion towards the dad. He's going to have them. He's going to have them. But when a kid comes to you with questions, you got to soften the blow a little bit. Take that away from your kid. Take that pain and the pressure away from your kid. Don't give him more pain and pressure by saying what his dad is or is not. That's bogus as hell. And a lot of you women do that shit. A lot of you women do that shit. It's almost like you want the dad to hurt because he hurt you. Disregarding the fact that when you want the dad to hurt, now the kid has to bear your pain and the dad's pain. You bogus as fuck for that. And you fellas who take your kids from your fucking kid's mother, the same rules apply. The same rules apply. But this is not about the fellas. This is not about the fellas. It's about the fact that a father still needs to show his face to a kid. If a kid sees a bad father, he can come up with his own assessment about this man. So when the kid says, let's say the kid turns 5 and the kid's just seeing dad all acting crazy, drunk and high and whatever, the kid can be like, dad's tripping. I love my dad. I like my dad. I just want to go with my dad. At some point, I ain't saying let him go. I'm saying the kid's going to want that. 10 years old, 12 and 15 years old, that kid's going to start noticing, dad be tripping. I don't like it when dad's drinking and dad's high, mommy. What's wrong with dad? And your mom says, the mom at that point says, maybe your dad's got some, he's got a few things going on in his life. He's just not right now, but he'll be better later. He'll be better later. Just give him a little time. And when the time comes around, you and your dad can have a conversation. You can ask him all the questions you want. That's how you handle that situation. So at some point, the kid's going to see more and more and more. 15 years old, 17, 18 years old, dad ain't got it. Dad's still fucking up, right? The kid ain't went with dad because dad's still dangerous, a danger to the kid, right? But now that the kid's a little bit older, the kid can be like, nah, hell no, I don't want to go with dad. Dad be tripping. You ain't the one that painted that picture to the kid. The kid saw this. The kid made their own assessment, and the kid was like, nah, I don't want to go with dad. Dad be tripping. Dad be smoking. He be drinking. He be doing all that. I don't want to go with dad. That's a whole problem. And just like that, you took that, you made sure the kid couldn't resent you for you telling the kid all this bogus shit all these years. You know what I'm saying? Because the time is going to come for them to talk. The time is going to come for the kid and the father to talk. Male or female, and the father to talk. And you better hope like hell that dad don't say something to make it spin and come back on you. If that dad could say to that kid, baby, I tried to come and get you all the time. Your mom always told me no. Mom lied to me all these years. Mom told me dad didn't want nothing to do with me. But now dad's saying a different story. You see what's going on? Better be careful with talking to your kids about this shit. Let your kids, you talk some shit into your kids. At least talk the man, not bad. You ain't got to talk him up, but don't talk bad about the kid. At least tell the kid, dad's got a few things going on. He'll be all right later. Dad's, he's got something bad going on in his life, but he'll be all right later. At least do that. Let the kid see for himself what kind of father this is, male or boy or girl. Let the kid see what dad is like. Don't let him go with him, but let him see what dad is like. Eventually, dad is going to fuck up and the kid ain't going to want nothing to do with him. And then later on, when it's time to have that talk, the kid's going to say, nah, dad, I saw you do this and I saw you do this. I saw you yelling at mom. I seen you and you was drunk. You was high. You was treating mom really bad and I didn't like how you talked to mom. Now he's got to answer to the kid. You see what I'm saying? So you really have to think about that. You really got to take into consideration if you have a kid and their father is around, a good dad And a bad dad still needs to be in the kid's life. Let the kid come up with their own assessment for what they think about that father. For the fathers who ain't coming around, who ain't doing something for their kid, they're gonna have to answer. They're gonna have to answer when that kid has questions. They're gonna have to answer to this man, to this kid. That kid, the father's gonna have to answer. And when that happens, it ain't because the mother says some bad shit about the father. It's gonna all fall down on that fucking man. So take that into consideration when there's a situation and that comes up. That kid should not hear something bad about that father. He shouldn't. That kid needs to see that on his own. He shouldn't be hearing it from the mom, from the aunt, from everybody talking shit about the man. Because at some point when that kid goes to talk to the dad, he shouldn't have in his mind what y'all done said. The kid should have been done see that dad was fucked up because of this. Dad was fucked up because of that. Not because of what somebody said in their feelings and emotions. You get what I'm saying? So take that into consideration. Take that into consideration. A bad dad is better than no dad. When a kid has no father in their life, they have them questions that don't get answered. The kid comes up with answers. They come up with their own answers, and those answers is not right. They need to be able to talk to somebody about them. And when the time comes for that kid to get older and talk to their father, and that father's gonna have to answer. That father's gonna have to answer. It doesn't matter if that's a drunk. He's a drunk. It doesn't matter if he's a druggie. But at some point, that father's gonna have to answer to that kid. And if the kid says, I don't want nothing to do with you no more because you was never there, you was never around. Every time I called you, you didn't answer. When that kid has to say that, the father's gonna have to take full accountability for that shit. Not the fact that the mother been saying bullshit about this man the kid's whole life. When the mother does that, it's the mother's fault that the kid has bad shit in his mind. But if the mother said nothing but good things about the father, yeah, your dad's just going through some shit. Your dad's just going through some shit. He's just going through some shit. He'll be all right later. You can ask him later. You can talk to your dad later. When you get a little older, you can talk to your dad. If the mother's been doing that and that kid finally said something to the dad was the asshole. And he's going to have to look that kid in the eye and say exactly what happened. And if the kid says, fuck dad, I never want nothing to do with dad again, that is that man's fault. Not the mother's, not the kid's, his. So don't take your kids away from this fucking man just because he's a bad fucking man. Keep him around. You ain't got to let him go with the man. Keep him around. He has to see it. That kid, boy or girl, has to see what dad's really like. It will do something good for him. You know what I'm saying? It will do something good for him. I hate when I see, excuse me. I hate when I see women getting their feelings and emotions because a man don't want nothing to do with them. So that they use the kid as a pawn, and then they literally will attack the man. Well, excuse me, you're never gonna see your kid again, bitch. Oh my god, dog. Oh my fucking stupid. I hate when that shit happens. I hate when women. You're never gonna see your kid again. What's going on is she's trying to hurt the man, and I know I said this already. This woman is trying to hurt the man. But you're not hurting the man. You're hurting the fucking kid. For every one of you women who don't understand the damage you do to the kid by removing the father, by making sure the father stays away from the kid, you don't understand the damage you're doing to the kid. You motherfucker cannot say you love that kid. I know you love him, but you cannot say that you love this kid if you're willing to take the father and remove the father because you're mad at him. Oh, he cheated on me. It doesn't matter. He's still the fucking kid's father. You get what I'm saying? Don't get mad at the man and then remove the, I'm taking my kids and I'm moving to Seattle. I'm moving to Texas. Yeah. What do you think you're doing to your kid? Mm-hmm. Or are you really hurting the man by taking the kid away and moving? Yep. Later on, when that kid got questions asked, you look your kid dead in the fucking eye and you tell your kid, it was my fault, baby. It wasn't your dad's fault. I left. I took you and I left because your dad was mean to me. Your dad was cheating on me. So I took you and I left. You make goddamn sure you say that to your fucking kid. You make goddamn sure you say that to your kid later on when your kid asks, "Where was my dad at when I was all these years? Where was my dad at?" You make damn sure you tell your kid you left because you didn't like what he did to you. Ain't got shit to do with the fucking kid. You did it. That shit makes me mad, dude. That shit makes me so sick. But because a kid needs a father. A bad dad is better than no dad. And I'm gonna always say that. I'm gonna always believe that. I'm gonna say it until I'm dead. A bad dad is better than no dad at all. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? And you see a kid sitting out in the front yard playing. A little kid, 5, 7, 8 years old, sitting out in the front yard playing, and that kid's just playing all by himself. If that father was to come by on a scooter or walking as a homeless guy with a backpack, and that kid says, "Mommy, that looked like my dad," that mom's supposed to say, "That's because it is, baby." And when the kid says, "What happened to him?" Mommy's supposed to say, "Life, baby. It's just life. That's all it is." One day, you'll have a better understanding. But she ain't supposed to say, "That's what happens when you make bad decisions." Well, he made poor decisions, and that's the reason he's like that. Your kid is taking this, and he's trying to make sense of what you're saying, and he's got questions, and he's gonna come up with answers, and he's gonna put these answers in his head, and then later on when they come out, they're gonna come out in the form of anger, aggression, resentment, because of what your ass been saying. You get what I'm saying? Because of what your ass been saying. And y'all don't understand that shit. Y'all don't know that y'all's mouth can really fuck some shit up. Really fuck some shit up. Think before you speak. Think about what you finna say before you say it, and to who you finna say it to. You get what I'm saying? If that's a little girl, imagine what you saying to her. If you tell this little girl, your dad was a piece of shit. Your dad was a piece of shit. Your dad, he was this. He was out here chasing girls. He was this, and that. Imagine saying that to your little girl. 3, 5, 10, and 15. You done said your dad was a piece of shit. This girl that heard this shit so much, don't you think she thinks all men's a piece of shit? What are you doing? What are you doing for her? If she was to ever get a relationship, you literally told her men ain't shit, men ain't shit, men ain't shit. So when she gets a relationship, without even knowing, she wrecks her fucking relationship. Why? Because mommy been saying this, and this. See what I'm saying? Y'all really need to take this shit into consideration because y'all fucking your kids up just by not paying attention to what's really going on. What you're saying, I'm saying. You're not even paying attention. You're just speaking in feelings and emotion. Wrecking shit. It's sad, man. It's sad. So I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it one more time. A bad dad is better than no dad because at least then the kid can see what's going on with dad and make their own assessment as to why they don't want to be around dad. Instead of listening to what people say, having questions that don't get answered, and then the answers that they create is something totally different than the truth. Keep that in mind. If you don't want to listen to me, fine, that's your kid. When the time comes for you to answer fucking questions, yeah, remember, you saw this video. Till next time, have a good night. They are so full of the cap, man. I can't take it, need to break it. If they